Hi, I'm Anto and I have an opinion on mental health in Nigeria. I think I learned about mental illnesses pretty early on, actually. I was born and raised in the States, so we're a little bit more exposed to mental illnesses, the different types of mental illnesses. I don't know every single type, but I think in the States we have programs in our regular schools for children with special needs. So that's kind of where you first learn about that certain people have illnesses, let it be strictly mental or even let it be developmental or how they learn. So we've definitely learned pretty early on about different types of mental illnesses. Mental health in Nigeria is definitely not perceived in a positive light. We can be honest and say that most people don't really think that when someone has a mental illness, they have a mental illness. Usually they'll say, someone did it to them. Want juju or different things like that. People don't really realize it's actually a serious issue, and most people with mental illnesses didn't catch it from doing a bad thing or didn't catch it because someone cursed them. It's just because of a genetic or developmental issue that has caused the person to have that issue that they're dealing with. I think people are being more open and aware that mental illnesses do exist, but we definitely still have a long way to go. Many people believe that mental illnesses exist, but they don't even know how to begin to treat it or even to know how to even talk about what's actually going on with people. Wow. What a wow. It's unfortunate. I think we need to be more accepting. It's typically people behave drastically when they don't understand. That's usually what it is. When you don't understand why someone behaves a certain way, your response is automatically a negative response. So I think if we're more perceptive and try to actually understand why people behave a certain way, then we'll create better laws and policies to actually better the person's life and not try to make it any worse. Religion and mental health are like this. Let's be very honest. Most of the times with anything, especially in Nigeria, religion is typically the cure. When something bad happens, go pray. Go to church, go to mosque, go to your pastor, go to your imam, go to your spiritual leader. That's typically what the answer is. But for mental health issues, prayer is not the only answer. It can be an answer. As a believer, I definitely believe that prayer works. But for certain illnesses, you actually need trained professionals who can help to advise and actually educate both the person suffering and the person's family, friends, and others. Yes, I have seen a therapist before. I never really was open about the fact that I've seen one, but I have seen one. I actually did see one years ago, maybe like 10 years ago. In the university in the States, it's pretty available to have a therapist. Therapists are on campus because they know that students go through many things. Many students are not excelling so well in class. Many students are away from their families for the first time. So therapists are available to help, the student out. I did go. I was going, through a lot of things. It was my first time away from home. I was in a place that I wasn't accustomed to, where I went to school. They kind of learned things differently than what I was used to, so I felt like I was behind. So I did take advantage of that therapist, but I can be honest and say I only went for one session. I felt like I was a G, like, why would I be going to go and see one therapist? Like, how can this person help me? But over the years, I realized that therapy isn't that bad. Actually, some of my best friends are therapists, and when I'm talking to them, depending on the conversation, sometimes they're talking to me as a friend, and sometimes they're talking to me, as a therapist. So it's really not a bad thing to talk to a therapist. Yeah, there's like a bad notion that, if you talk to a therapist, you're weak. Like you can't solve your issue on your own, but that's not true. There's trained the same way you go to a doctor when you're sick with a stomach, you can go to a therapist when you just are overwhelmed with what's going on in your life. So there's really no issue with going to see a therapist. I think public figures and myself can influence, awareness of mental health by being honest, by saying that mental health issues do exist. It's not just someone running mad on the streets or all the bad things we think about mental illness. Mental illness is an illness, just like having malaria, just like having typhoid, it exists. So I think just speaking about it, we're not even educated, that much on it, but speaking about it and encouraging other people, including ourselves, to become educated and see how to help the next person who is going through something. I think the first thing that we should do when it comes to mental issues is to be understanding. If you don't have the mental issue, you probably have no idea what that person is going through. So definitely try to be understanding of the person's feelings, emotions, behaviors, and then to educate oneself.